Hello there, welcome to our channel. Today we will show you a collection of resin ideas. So, watch the video until the end to see these beautiful ideas and get inspiration. We post furniture, decor, and craft ideas videos on daily basis. Unique resin ideas can transform ordinary objects into striking, conversation-starting pieces. Resin's versatility allows artists and makers to encapsulate memories, create functional art, and experiment with textures, colors, and embedded elements. One innovative approach is to craft layered memory panels that combine photographs, small keepsakes, and translucent pigments. By printing tiny, high-resolution photos onto thin, archival paper and cutting them into shapes or strips, then embedding them within successive resin pores, an artist can build depth and narrative. Each layer can represent a moment in time or a theme, vacations, family milestones, or seasonal changes, so the finished panel becomes a three-dimensional timeline. Using mica powders and interference pigments between layers adds shimmering transitions that shift as the viewer moves, enhancing the storytelling. Another unique idea is to incorporate natural processes directly into resin pieces. Instead of just embedding flowers or leaves, one can create an ecosystem vignette, partially dry a selection of mosses, lichens, and small fern fragments, arrange them on a shallow base, then pour a thin resin layer to capture the scene while allowing some air pockets to remain. Over weeks, slight changes in color and texture, if carefully controlled, can mimic a living diorama, especially if the piece is designed with microhabitats in mind. Furniture accents offer another playground for originality. Think beyond tabletops into hybrid pieces, resin-embedded drawer fronts, chair armrests with translucent inlays, or cabinet pulls filled with miniature scenes. For a bespoke kitchen island, create a resin countertop with embedded river stones, hand-drawn line work, and tinted resin streams that flow through inlaid channels. To marry functionality and artistry, incorporate anti-scratch agents into the topmost layer and design overflow channels that guide excess liquid to hidden drains. Lighting these pieces from underneath with LED strips transforms them at night. Colors become saturated and embedded textures glow, making furniture both useful and sculptural. Functional art in the form of resin light fixtures opens vast creative territory. Design pendant lamps with suspended elements such as tiny glass bubbles, metallic leaf flakes, or preserved herbs. Challenge typical shapes by creating undulating, asymmetrical forms that mimic sea glass or molten glass frozen mid-flow. Combine resin with thin metal armatures to support larger suspended forms. The metal can be deliberately visible, contrasting the resin's smoothness with industrial rigidity. Using dichroic pigments that shift color depending on angle gives each fixture a living quality. Incorporate smart bulbs with adjustable warmth and brightness to highlight different inclusions at different times of day. Jewelry and wearable art remain a staple but can be pushed into unique realms with unexpected inclusions and modular designs. Create modular resin pendants with hidden compartments for tiny notes, fragrance-infused microcapsules, or pressed petals that release scent when warmed by body heat. Or develop interlocking resin segments that snap together, allowing wearers to rearrange pieces into bracelets, chokers, or brooches, turning jewelry into playful, customizable accessories. Experiment with embedding conductive threads or thin electroluminescent wire so that jewelry subtly lights up, powered by tiny, flexible batteries. This intersection of tech and craft yields wearable pieces that are personal, interactive, and modern. Home decor items can be reimagined with tactile and sensory elements. Produce resin coasters that contain sand and miniature glass bottles, but with one side microtextured for grip and the other polished to a mirror finish. Create sensory wall panels with layered resin and tactile inlays, soft fabrics, thin wooden slats, and metallic meshes, arranged so visitors can touch and feel transitions between materials. For an immersive bathroom accessory line, make soap dishes that have slight slopes and embedded pebble patterns that change appearance when wet, or toothbrush holders with translucent windows that softly illuminate when a toothbrush is inserted. Outdoor resin projects present the opportunity to blend durability with aesthetics. Design stepping stones that incorporate glow-in-the-dark aggregates and weatherproof pigments. Use silicone molds with organic textures, leaf veins, bark patterns, ripple effects, and blend them with colored resin to create path stones that subtly guide evening walks. For garden furniture, embed weather-resistant ceramic shards, pyrography-marked wood slices, and stainless steel accents in thick resin slabs. To ensure longevity, select UV-stable resins and add protective clear coats to prevent yellowing and surface degradation under prolonged sun exposure. Functional kitchenware made with food-safe resin introduces both beauty and utility. While caution and proper certifications are required for surfaces that contact food, you can design resin-handled utensils where only the handle contains resin art, embedding coffee beans, spices, or dried citrus slices in epoxy handles sealed with a food-safe top coat. Sculptural storytelling is another avenue. Create figurative resin sculptures that incorporate mixed media armatures. Armature materials such as wire, cloth, and wood can be partially encased in resin, leaving other parts exposed for contrast. Build sculptures that use colored resin to suggest movement, streaks of tinted resin trailing from a figure to evoke speed or wind. Alternatively, use translucent resin to encapsulate motion capture ribbon trails. Long, narrow strips of fabric or thin metallic ribbons can be frozen mid-flow within resin columns, producing a sense of paused. Small household innovations can be delightful and practical. Design resin key organizers with embedded thin magnets or metallic strips so keys align and whisper into place. Create resin plant stakes with embedded labels and tiny LED cores that pulse gently to indicate watering schedules when connected to a moisture sensor. For stationery lovers, make resin pen holders where each slot includes different textures and color layers, so every time a pen is placed or pulled, a new visual interplay appears. Color theory and experimental pigments can yield dramatic results. Use layered translucent colors to create chromatic depth where hues mix optically rather than physically. Pour thin, semi-opaque layers of complementary colors to allow new tones to emerge at intersections. Incorporate metallic leaf in irregular patterns, then microsand the top surface before sealing to reveal subtle veining that catches the light. For an ethereal effect, suspend extremely fine glass microspheres within resin to create a fog layer that diffuses light and softens embedded images or objects behind it. Finally, collaborative and community-driven resin projects can be uniquely meaningful. Host a resin mosaic workshop where each participant creates a small tile with personal embedded objects, assemble the tiles into a larger public artwork or installation. Or create time capsule resin boxes where community members contribute items, enclose them in a thick resin block with an engraved plaque documenting contributors and dates. Such projects fuse personal narratives with durable art, preserving community memory in an accessible, resonant form. Throughout these ideas, safety and materials knowledge are essential. Always use appropriate PPE, ensure proper ventilation for epoxy or polyurethane resins, and select UV-stable, food-safe, or outdoor-grade resins when projects demand longevity or contact with food. Testing small batches for color stability and cure behavior helps avoid bubbles, insufficient curing, or yellowing. Tools like vacuum chambers and pressure pots can minimize bubbles for ultra-clear results, while silicone molds and release agents make demolding smoother and safer for intricate forms. These concepts demonstrate resin's capacity to bridge craft, science, and design. Whether the goal is a wearable piece that glows, a furniture element that tells a story, or a community mosaic that captures moments, resin enables layers of meaning, texture, and light. Experimentation, mixing pigments, embedding unexpected materials, and combining resin with other disciplines like electronics or natural science, will continue to push the medium into surprising, original directions. We hope you've enjoyed our today's content. If you do, please consider subscribing to our channel if you haven't already, and also smash that notification bell so that you will be the first one to be notified when we upload new videos. And finally, thank you for watching until the end. We look forward to seeing you in our next video.